Well, good afternoon and welcome to the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. Prime Minister Modi's ongoing visit to the UK is our top focus this afternoon. That and much more coming up in the next 30 minutes. First up, the headlines. President expresses pain over recent incidents of rape of minors. Addressing university students in Jammu, says education on basic human values need of the hour. Adds society needs to introspect on the direction it is heading in. Prime Minister Modi to hold bilateral talks with his British counterpart Theresa May in London shortly. Focus on healthcare, digitization and cybersecurity. Prime Minister to welcome UK into the International Solar Alliance as its newest member. Prime Minister to answer questions from around the world during one-of-a-kind interactive event. Bharat Ki Baat Sabke Saath to be telecast live from Central Hall, Westminster tonight. And Olympics has a safe future in India, says the Sports Minister Rajya Rathore. In an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha TV, says cutting out red tape was a big push for athletes to produce a superlative performance at the Commonwealth Games. Our top story this afternoon, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding bilateral talks with his British counterpart Theresa May in London in a short while from now. A wide range of issues including cross-border terrorism, healthcare, digitization and cybersecurity will be the key focus. And another big event slated for the day is the Bharat Ki Baat Sabke Saath, where Prime Minister Modi will answer questions over several issues addressed to him from around the world. Here are all the details.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi arriving at the Heathrow Airport in London. UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson receiving him. India describes the PM's visit as another chapter in the modern partnership bound by strong historic ties. Ahead of his packed day of official engagements today, Prime Minister Modi holding a midnight meeting with the UK Foreign Secretary immediately after arrival. Boris Johnson hoping the visit will help build on the huge economic advantages for India-UK bilateral trade.
You know, the UK is one of the oldest democracies in the world, if not the oldest. India is the world's largest, and together, thanks to our shared history, we have a living bridge between us. Trade growing by about 15% a year, huge economic advantages, and of course, a massive ties of family and culture and kinship and all the rest of it. And now we want to build on that by working together on that incredible tech sector where both India and the UK are making giant strides together.
Today's schedule for the PM include a bilateral meeting with British Prime Minister Theresa May at 10 Downing Street shortly. The two leaders are expected to discuss a wide range of issues of mutual interest, including separatism, cross-border terrorism, visas and immigration. Nearly a dozen MOUs across various sectors are expected to be signed. A visit to the Science Museum in London to see the 5,000 Years of Science and Innovation exhibition is also slated. At the event, the launch of the new Ayurvedic Centre of Excellence will also take place. The Prime Ministers of both the countries will meet for the second time at the Francis Crick Institute dedicated for biomedical research. Later, both leaders will initiate the India-UK CEOs Forum. The PM will also garland the Basaveshwara statue, which he had inaugurated during his last visit in 2015. The Prime Minister is also scheduled for a private audience with Queen Elizabeth II at the Buckingham Palace. During his London stay, the Prime Minister will also welcome the UK into the International Solar Alliance as its newest member. Another high point of the day is a Bharat Ki Baat Sabke Saath diaspora event. The event, billed as a centerpiece of the Living Bridge theme of the India-UK bilateral visit, will involve the PM addressing questions from across the world which have already been received via social media. It will be telecast live from the iconic Central Hall, Westminster tonight. The Prime Minister will join heads of government from other Commonwealth countries at a dinner hosted by the British Prime Minister as a formal welcome to Chogun. The 25th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, being hosted by the UK, takes place between April 19 and 20.
The summit-level talk between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and British Prime Minister Theresa May is symbolic of the fact that both countries want to make a common strategy about the world affairs. It will be interesting to see that how things converge after the Commonwealth Summit. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Sivi Sudarshan in London.
And in what has been categorized as an unprecedented welcome, Prime Minister Modi will hold not just one but two meetings with his British counterpart Theresa May today before they begin their formal deliberations as part of the multilateral Commonwealth Summit. He is also among only three senior world leaders attending the summit to be invited for an audience with Queen Elizabeth. Our correspondent Akhilesh Suman met YK Sinha, India's High Commissioner to the UK, to know more about the Prime Minister's visit. Let's take a listen.
High Commissioners or ambassadors have major role in bilateral relationship between the two countries. Mr. YK Sinha is here in Britain as High Commissioner of India. Mr. High Commissioner, what is the secret that no Prime Minister came for last 9 years to take part in Commonwealth Summit and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming here?
You're aware that, the Honourable Prime Minister has been taking initiatives on the foreign policy front, particularly strengthening our multilateral engagement as well as our bilateral engagement. And obviously we see value in our participation in the Commonwealth. We are one of the founding members of the Commonwealth, the biggest member in terms of population, 55% of the population. And I think there is a desire among the members to give a new direction to the Commonwealth. So I think
we are hearing that India will be getting some important role in Commonwealth in coming days. So how important and what type of role India is trying to get, or Britain also wants to share its responsibility with India?
No, I think it's not a question of a particular role or a particular sort of direction. I mean, a direction, yes, not a particular role necessarily, because India carries weight in international affairs, in multilateral and bilateral affairs. We are, of course, as I mentioned, the largest member of the Commonwealth. We are also the fastest growing large economy in the world. So I think the Commonwealth can benefit from India's participation. And India can help in achieving objectives which are for the larger good of the membership.
Is it just a coincidence that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Theresa May is meeting just before the Commonwealth Summit, or they want to also strategize something both bilateral and multilateral ways?
No, I can assure you it's not a coincidence. No, I think it's very clearly a reflection of the importance that both countries attach to our relationship. And the bilateral engagement that the Honourable Prime Minister will be quite intense. As I mentioned, he will be meeting the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, not once but twice in a bilateral context, emphasizing different aspects of our relationship. The Queen, Her Majesty the Queen, will be receiving the Prime Minister on a private audience.
Really last question, sir, that visa has been one of the major issues between India and UK, and there was a hardening of a stand from the British part on the visa issue. So do you think that after this summit, British will relax the visa regime for Indians?
Each country has their own visa regimes, their own. Certainly, India would like a freer movement of people and professionals. So obviously, this issue is important to us. But I must add that if you see the total number of visas issued to Indians, it's quite large.
So High Commissioner Mr. YK Sinha is very confident about this visit and meeting of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Theresa May, and we will see some positive result after bilateral and also Commonwealth multilateral forum. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Shivi Sudarshan in London.
All right, Akhilesh Suman, my colleague is now joining us live from London. Akhilesh, in a short while from now, we'll see PM Modi and Prime Minister Theresa May holding talks. A number of issues of mutual interest, of course, are expected to come up, and on the cards is also several MOUs, including the much-awaited MOU on the return of illegal immigrants. Tell us more.
Yeah, Aswarya, actually Prime Minister is about to leave from here. I am standing before the hotel where Prime Minister is staying here, and this is the Taj Hotel of St. James Court, and you can see that a large crowd is assembled here to welcome Prime Minister. On the other side, that is really shadowed by this big truck. On the other side, there is a group of people. There is a group of people who are standing on the other side of the road, and here you can see a gentleman. Here you can see a gentleman who is also holding a placard to welcome Prime Minister. So people of Indian origin are assembled here when Prime Minister will leave to meet Theresa May in a short while. But you know that, Aishwarya, what is the major thing that coming up between India and UK is the technology cooperation. Technology cooperation is one of the major issues that both Prime Ministers are going to discuss. And you know that Prime Minister has been stressing that there should be cooperation in science, technology and also in innovation. So after the summit level meeting between Prime Minister and Theresa May, there are expectations that almost 12, more than a dozen agreements will be signed in different ways related to science, technology, also International Solar Alliance. And it is one of the happy news that Britain is going to be part of International Solar Alliance that was initiated by India in collaboration in France. So it is one of the achievements of this treaty in that way. And after that, Prime Minister is going to meet, you know, that scientists who have been contributing in UK for a long time, and there is a museum where science and innovation has been going on for 5,000 years. The whole history will be displayed, and this will be in presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prince of Charles. So this is one of the major events that today that Prime Minister will be accompanied by Prince of Charles. And then again, Prime Minister is going to meet Theresa May in the afternoon, where there will be meeting of CEOs forum, and there will be there is a Crick Institute where the labs are there, where research is going on. So this is the two major events before, you know, that there will be Bharat Ki Baat, from where Prime Minister will address people of India all over the world, that what India is all about and at what stage India has reached at this point of time. And it is very significant that he is addressing the Indian community all over the world from London,
yes.
Under which rule there was India was ruled by Britain, and London was the capital, and London is the capital. So it is a quite big messaging that, see, once upon a time we were ruled by you, and now we can address the whole world from here. So it is a big thing that Prime Minister is going to convey from London. Yeah, Aishwarya.
Absolutely, and Prime Minister Modi is also going to be honoured in a private audience with the Queen Elizabeth as well at the Buckingham Palace, you know, an event which has been organised only previously for 3 other countries. So that is also very significant. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates from London. We'll keep coming back to you for more on that story. And in related news, India has pooled into an innovative $5 million fund for smaller countries to obtain easier access to international trade finance. Sri Lanka, Mauritius and Malta have injected capital into the new scheme. Now, this scheme is to help smaller states diversify their economies and achieve the sustainable development goals. The announcement of the Commonwealth Small States Trade Finance Facility came at the ongoing Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in London. Now, this fund guarantees that 10% of any loans are secured to develop trade and sustain economic and social development. This guarantee could release $100 million of incremental trade finance over a 3-year period to any of the 31 Commonwealth nations classified as small states. Pilot countries selected for the launch of the scheme include Bahamas, Botswana, Brunei, Dominica, Fiji, Mauritius, Namibia and Seychelles. And Sweden has backed India's bid for membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Löfven expressed his country's support to India during his talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Stockholm yesterday. And out of the 4 export control regimes that work to keep the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction in check, India is a member of the Missile Technology Control Regime, the Wassenaar Arrangement as well as the Australia Group. Sweden also extended support to India's permanent membership of a reformed and expanded United Nations Security Council. Prime Minister Modi has also thanked his Swedish counterpart for support. And following the talks between the 2 leaders, the 2 sides also agreed to strengthen defence and security cooperation. They also unveiled a strategic innovation partnership and a joint action plan as well.
आज हमने एक इनोवेशन पार्टनरशिप और जॉइंट एक्शन प्लान पर सहमति की है। इनोवेशन, इन्वेस्टमेंट, स्टार्टअप्स, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग आदि हमारी साझेदारी के प्रमुख आयाम है। इनके साथ हम रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, अर्बन ट्रांसपोर्ट, वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट जैसे अनेक विषयों पर भी ध्यान दे रहे हैं। रक्षा क्षेत्र में स्वीडन बहुत लंबे समय से भारत का साझेदार रहा है और मुझे विश्वास है कि भविष्य में भी इस क्षेत्र में विशेष रूप से रक्षा उत्पादन में हमारे सहयोग के लिए कई नए अवसर पैदा होने वाले हैं।
India is aiming for an unprecedented economic transformation, including in manufacturing as well as in digital development. And Sweden has many sustainable and innovative solutions to offer. I'm talking about green technology, smart cities, and innovation as part of our cooperation. And at the end of the day, it's about creating jobs and a sustainable economic growth.
And Prime Minister Modi and his counterparts from 5 Nordic countries took part in the first India-Nordic Summit in Stockholm yesterday. Following the meeting, the leaders pledged to deepen cooperation between the Nordic countries of Sweden, Norway, Finland, Iceland and Denmark and India. The leaders discussed the key issues related to global security, economic growth, innovation and climate change. They also reaffirmed the importance of free trade as a catalyst for achieving inclusive growth and realizing sustainable development goals. The summit emphasized India's strong commitment to innovation and digital initiatives with national flagship programs such as Make in India, Startup India, Digital India and Clean India. Nordic solutions in clean technologies, maritime solutions, port modernization, food processing, health and life sciences and agriculture were also mentioned. And in a joint statement issued at the end of the summit, Nordic countries welcomed India's application for the membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. They also agreed that India is a strong candidate for a permanent seat in a reformed United Nations Security Council, expanded with both permanent and non-permanent members. And back home, President Nath Kovind has expressed pain over recent incidents of rape of minors in the country. Addressing students during the 6th convocation of Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University in Katra in Jammu, he said that it is shameful that after 70 years of independence, such incidents are occurring in the country. The president also said that there is a need for us to introspect on the direction in which we are as a society are heading. He also added that it is the responsibility of the entire society to ensure that such things do not happen to any girl or woman.
किसी न किसी कोने में कहीं न कहीं हमारे बच्चे आज जघन्य अपराधों का शिकार हो रहे हैं। हाल ही में इस राज्य में एक मासूम बच्ची ऐसी बर्बरता और निर्मम हत्या का शिकार हुई है जिसकी कल्पना भी नहीं की जा सकती। जो जीवन का उद्देश्य, मानवीय मूल्य, वो बहुत जरूरी है। हम कैसा समाज बना रहे हैं, हम अपनी भावी पीढ़ी को क्या दे रहे हैं, क्या हम ऐसे समाज का निर्माण कर रहे हैं जहां हमारी माँ, बहनें और बेटियां, जो हमारा भारतीय संविधान है, उसमें निहित न्याय, स्वतंत्रता, समानता और बंधुता को सही अर्थों में अनुभव कर सकते हैं। हम सभी की ये जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि देश के किसी भी भाग से किसी भी बेटी या बहन के साथ ऐसा ना हो।
And now news from poll-bound Karnataka. Twenty-nine candidates have filed their nomination papers on the first day of filing of papers for the Karnataka Assembly polls, and according to the state electoral authorities, among those who did so were one candidate each from the BJP and the JDS. The last date for filing of nominations is 24th of April and scrutiny will be taken up on 25th, while the last day for the withdrawal of candidature is 27th of April. Remember, polls for the 224 seats to the Karnataka Assembly will be held on 12th of May and the counting of votes will take place on 15th of May. On to some other news. In an effort to reach out to the Dalit community, Union Minister Ramvilas Paswan on Tuesday said that the government will move the Supreme Court for quota in promotion for SCs and STs. Paswan, who is a member of a group of ministers constituted for issues involving these communities, also said that the government is open to bringing an ordinance on the matter. His announcement follows the government's decision to file pleas in the Apex Court against its two orders, which it has argued would work against the interests of the SCs and the STs. Paswan said that the court has ruled in favor of reservation for SCs and STs in promotion, but also introduced several conditions which have led to the non-implementation of quota guidelines. According to these guidelines, the state and central governments have to verify backwardness and efficiency for employees to be benefited from reservation in promotion rules.
हम लोग क्या कहते हैं कि हम जो सरकार हमने कहा था कि सरकार का जो परसेप्शन है, हमने कहा 3 महीना का समय आपसे मांगा था प्रदेश। हम जो क्या कहते हैं कि उसको क्या कहते हैं कि हम लोग प्रमोशन में रिजर्वेशन लागू करवाएंगे। पहले एक बात खत्म करने दीजिए। तो प्रमोशन में रिजर्वेशन क्या कहते हैं कि होगा। अब कैसे होगा? 2 तरीका है। एक तरीका क्या कहते हैं कि ये है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये नहीं कहा है कि प्रमोशन में रिजर्वेशन नहीं होना चाहिए। उन्होंने कहा है कि रिजर्वेशन क्या कहते हैं होगा, लेकिन ये 3 क्राइटेरिया जो 3 कंडीशंस लगाया है, वो क्या कहते हैं हम सरकार की तरफ से अटॉर्नी जनरल जाएंगे और कहेंगे कि साहब क्या कहते हैं ये बैकवर्डनेस का सवाल है, या क्या कहते हैं एफिशिएंसी का सवाल है, या ये सवाल है डज नॉट अराइज इन केस ऑफ शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट एंड शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब्स। उसके एक तरीका क्या कहते हैं कि ये है। दूसरा तरीका है क्या मानते हैं उसके बावजूद भी मानते हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो है क्या कहते हैं कि हाजिर रहता है कि नहीं क्या कहते हैं प्रमोशन में रिजर्वेशन नहीं होगा, तो फिर सरकार दूसरा रास्ता निकालेगी। जिस तरीके एक रास्ता है जिस तरीके से मान लेते हैं कि अभी हम जो है हमने कह दिया है कि SC/ST प्रिवेंशन एक्ट है, उसमें हम ऑर्डिनेंस लाएंगे, हम वो एक ऑर्डिनेंस का भी रास्ता है।
News from Jammu and Kashmir. The BJP has asked all its 9 ministers in the state to submit their resignations today to enable the party to bring in new faces into the state cabinet. PTI is quoting sources as saying the decision follows a hectic parleys between a senior BJP leader Avinash Khanna and party legislators. BJP leaders say that the party wants to bring in new faces in the 2-year-old Mehbooba Mufti cabinet. Remember, the decision has come days after 2 of the party's ministers resigned from the state cabinet in the backdrop of the Kathua rape and murder case. These ministers had taken part in a rally in support of those accused in the case. News from Madhya Pradesh. 21 people have been killed in a road accident that took place in Madhya Pradesh last night. The accident occurred when a mini truck carrying a marriage party fell off a bridge over the Sone River in Siddhi district. The vehicle fell around 60 to 70 feet down on the dry part of the river after it hit a retaining wall of a bridge. Nearly as many people have been injured as well. The injured have been submitted to Siddhi District Hospital and the rescue operations are still going on. The district collector as well as the district police chiefs are also at the spot to supervise the rescue operations. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has announced an assistance of 2 lakh rupees each to the kin of the deceased and 50,000 rupees each to the injured. News from Kolkata, where 15 people were killed and several others were injured after strong winds of up to 98 kilometers per hour hit Kolkata and its adjoining areas, disrupting public transport and traffic on Tuesday. Of the 15, 7 died in the city, 6 in Havra district and 1 each in Bankura and Hooghly districts respectively. According to police officials, nearly 50 people were injured in the incidents of a wall collapse, uprooting of trees and electrocution. The Kolkata Municipal Corporation has pressed into service a disaster management team to clear the debris. Fire department officials said that electrical fires were reported from various parts of the metropolis as well. According to the airport officials, departure and arrivals of some flights also were delayed because of the gutsy winds. And the government has once again reiterated that there is no dearth of cash in the system. MOS Finance SP Shukla was responding a day after the government dispelled concerns over currency shortage in the ATMs. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley had earlier clarified that the shortage is temporary and caused due to sudden and unusual increase in demand in some parts of the country. He also said that steps are being taken to ensure that the ATMs are supplied with the cash, and non-functional ATMs are also normalized at the earliest.
पैसे की कमी ऐसी कुछ भी बात नहीं है, बल्कि आज भी लगभग 1.5 लाख करोड़ से अधिक करेंसी हमारे पास है और जहां उसकी आवश्यकता होगी हम उसको पूरा करेंगे। एटीएम्स में भी दे रहे हैं, हो सकता है कभी कभी एटीएम की खराबी के नाते कभी किसी और नाते न रहा हो, लेकिन एटीएम से पैसे भी निकल रहे हैं। पार्लियामेंट में है, पार्लियामेंट में पैसा नहीं है, जाओ कोई निकाल करके लेकर के चले आओ।
You know, the financial position has been shaken, instability has set in, even the cash crunch, many of the ATMs is found, people are finding it difficult, and because of the many eruption of the camps, because of the panic button being pressed by the present BJP government, the lending for the investment or even for the small loans, even for the MSMEs, the loans are not being given because the money is not there, because the money is there to be siphoned out by big people, not by the small, middle class or the MSME.
On to sports, and Union Minister for Sports and Youth Affairs Rajya Singh Rathore has given an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha television in which he pointed out some main reasons for a higher medal tally in the Commonwealth Games this year, one of which is the meticulous preparation and further are cutting out red tapeism, further clearance of files, 50,000 rupees pocket allowance for every athlete per month, direct communication with all the officials that has brought the difference. Rathore also spoke about the agenda of the forthcoming visit of the International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach, saying that India will be showcased as a safe, drug-free, dope-free country which is capable of holding big multi-ticket discipline events.
What was that big push which the sports persons got this time, that it was almost like a gold rush?
Our preparation is very meticulous now. And so we've cut out the red tapeism and the bureaucracy and clearing of files. The communication is directly with the athlete. They call me up straight away that we need this, and it immediately works down. Or they call up the officers directly. And so the decision making is much faster. Also, till now used to be funding only for their training, their diet, etc. So we brought in 50,000 rupees like a pocket allowance for each of the athletes per month. The IOC president is coming in. We will have an interaction with him. He'll spend about 2-3 days in our country. The idea is more to interact with him and also to sort of synchronize our efforts, and for him to also realize that the government is committed towards sports, towards bringing in transparency in the sports, in the running of the federations, and for him to interact with us and know that Olympics has a very safe future in India.
Well, you can watch the entire interview on our program To The Point today at 10 p.m. and on Thursday at 10 a.m. So don't forget to tune in then. And with this, it is a wrap on this edition of news. Thanks so much for watching.